and I'm delighted that they can tune in and be with us. And we have sound, not that I need it. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Carrie Boax, and I'm very honoured to be the President of the Scottish Brass Band Association. I do wear many hats over the course of the year in the world of brass banding, but this is my presidential hat that I'm wearing today, and I'm delighted to welcome anyone who has braved the weather, braved COVID, and braved any other hurdle to make it to Perth today. So thank you for joining us. I am not going to say too much this morning because I will appear later on and tomorrow as well at various points, and probably by tomorrow night you'll wonder however you've missed me over the past 18, 19 months. I'm sure you'll be fed up listening to me by Sunday night. But as I say, I'm going to hand over now to our Education Officer. John Boax is his name. I know him very well for many reasons. He has been coordinating our morning events of the Festival of Brass this weekend. As many of you will know, we have not been able to host our youth championships. But I think it's important to note that our youth bands are getting back to their bands. Our youngsters are keen to get back to being on this stage, and John will give you a bit more information about the state of play across the country with our youth movement. We are laying the foundations again, and the product of a lot of hard work, and certainly one of our band halls in our country will be on display today. And then you're in for a treat later on when our National Youth Brass Band, Children's Youth Brass Band, joins us as well before our contest begins in earnest at 1 o'clock. So without any further ado, please sit back, enjoy your time together, and please make sure that you catch up with the people that you hold dear in the brass banding family. Handing over now to John Boax, our Scottish Brass Band Association Education Officer. John.
Good morning and welcome to a windy Perth. It's nice to see you all here. We've got two youth bands eager to play. This particular time at the Scottish Open was always when we had youth band competitions, and because of the past 2 years of COVID, youth bands have not been able to rehearse as they would have normally, so we couldn't really hold the contest. So the idea today was to do some youth events. This morning should have started with a P-Buzz workshop with a gentleman called Chris Fowler. We had to cancel that because he's stuck in England. There are no trains running, no cars running, so that had to be cancelled this morning. But we've two really eager youth bands. The first one I'll explain in a minute to you about. The second one is our National Youth Brass Band, Children's Band, probably the cream of our National Youth Brass Band setup, because they are the future of the NYBBS setup, and they will sort of feed through to all of our senior bands. But before that, we're going to have the Coalburn Bronze Band, and they're going to play for us a brand new piece. Saba commissioned 4 young composers to write 3 youth band pieces each, and this was probably one of our more successful projects funded by Creative Scotland. One of those composers was a gentleman called Gareth Bowman, who is certainly an up-and-coming star when it comes to composing music, especially for youth band. So, I'm going to introduce the band on, and I have to say to you, I hope you're not expecting to see normal band attire, because this is certainly not what you would expect to see. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome on to the stage the Coalburn Bronze Band and their inspirational conductor, David Fehilly. So, the band's performance comprises of a set of pieces, and they're called The Pirate Adventures. This piece has been written by Gareth Bowman from a story by Carol Docherty. Pirate Adventures is a suite of 4 fun pieces written for junior band, 4-part and percussion. It was commissioned in 2021 by the Scottish Brass Band Association as part of a scheme to provide new music for youth bands. The 4 movements tell a story about the adventures of pirates. This performance today is a world premiere, so please sit back and enjoy Pirate Adventures.
Welcome to the Sea of Pirate Adventures. From the waves there came a mighty Vien glistening in the sun. The pirate watched in silent awe and thought, this might be fun. The shark rose from the water and bared a toothy grin. The pirate, though first cautious, took a breath and dived right in. Grab hold tight, the shark exclaimed, splashing water in the sky. The pirate did as he was told, and in the water he did fly. The pair raced from the boat at speed and flitted on the foam. Then as the sun began to sink, the pirate said, now ho! As the pirate left his newfound friend, he felt a little sad. He turned towards the shark and said, that's the most fun I've ever had. The shark smiled again, that toothy grin, replying, same time next week? In fact, let's bring some friends and have a game of hide and seek. When the pirate met a shark. As the sun returned home, pink dusk gave way to purple hues, settling finally into a blanket of black. A gull slowly circled overhead, before calmly coming to rest on the main mast of the glorious vessel. The sky was pierced 1,000,000 times, offering little glimpse of what was beyond. The ship rocked like a lullaby, soothing and maternal, she calmed her babes to rest. A calm night in the bay. A glorious victory, a time for celebration. The music vibrated through every soul on board. The night sky was filled with the echoes of laughter. The captain sat at the head of the table and surveyed the scene. He felt a warm glow of satisfaction as he looked around the faces of his crew. He knew now, without doubt, they would follow him to the ends of the earth. The beat of the drum pounded. The captain began to tap his foot in time. So quiet was the tap, tap, tapping of the foot that the crew at first thought they imagined it. However, it soon became unmistakable as the captain turned to face them, face beaming, hands thundering together in an uproarious hammering. He jumped on top of the table demanding, "Get me my tuba!" A cheer erupted from the room as the captain danced and played in time with the thunderous drum. At once, every one of them were on their feet, the night sky alive with the beat of the techno pirate.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause again for our Coalburn Bronze Band. Good morning again, folks. Sorry I'm a bit breathless there. I really need to start running in a treadmill or finding a way of getting fit. So we now move on to our second concert of today. During the summer holidays this year, like any sane person would when they have some time off work, I spent around 5 weeks preparing and planning, along with a group, full team of keen, enthusiastic adults, young people and their families, to safely return to Strathallan School in Perthshire for our National Youth Brass Band of Scotland summer course. Having had a year of being online and virtual in 2020, we were desperately keen, as many of you probably all were at the time, to get back to being together in a safe and responsible way. And so we did work really hard to ensure that that happened. And as I touch wood here and stand with a smile on my face, we had a fantastic time together with around 100 of our young people aged 9 to 22, and an amazing, and I can't stress the word amazing enough, an amazing group of adults, from our pastoral team to our tutors who took on the role of mum and dad throughout the week, as well as supporting our young people, and our amazing musical directors. And so what we hoped from that event to do was to bring our young people together again throughout the year, to try and ensure that the NYBBS family got a chance to meet up, which is so important, especially as we continue to find our times very challenging. In September of this year, our reserve band and our senior band were able to come together along with the STAMP, St Andrews University project, led by John Wallace and his team at the Wallace Collection. And our education officer, John Boax, coordinated a group of 36 young people to come together to perform and spend a weekend making music. And it was a fantastic weekend. I was there, not participating and playing, but certainly there supporting our young people. We then had our children's band that we wanted to ensure they got a chance to perform and shine again too. So I am delighted to welcome them now to the stage to play for you all today. And they are going to, along with their musical director, Mr. Alan Fernie, perform some of the pieces of music that they performed at their concert in Perth in the summer. We weren't able to have a live performance. It was a very strange experience being in the theatre in Perth Concert Hall, Perth, the school, when we had no audience. So please make sure that you give them a huge round of applause, because it was definitely seriously missed after their amazing concert in Strathallan. So, without any further ado, can we please welcome to the stage the National Children's Brass Band of Scotland and their musical director, Mr. Alan Fernie. Children's Band, Mr. Alan Fernie.
I've got a bus pass now, I can't do electronic stuff. Thank you so much. It's so nice to see so many of you here this morning to support this extraordinary bunch of people. We are the National Children's Brass Band of Scotland, the junior section of the NYBBS organisation, and we've got kids here from all over our wonderful country. We've got guys from the west, from Campbellton, and way down south of Stranraer, and people from the east, like Edinburgh, and the Lothians and the Borders, and people as far north as Inverness. All these kids are all under 13, or they were during the summer. I think some of them have 14 now. Anybody? Shh, don't tell anybody. Okay? And it's marvellous that they can get together just like this and make music. Now, the last time we actually played was in August. We've just had about half an hour through the backstage there to play, and they've just played like that. It's absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. We started there with a piece called Festmusik der Stadt Vien, which is festival music for the city of Vienna by Richard Strauss. There'll be a wee African theme running through our programme today. One of my privileges as a musician is to be the composer in residence for a charity called Brass for Africa. And I've been to Uganda 3 times to work with the guys there. It's fabulous. And on my first visit, I heard this tune sung by a choir there, and I thought this would be so lovely for a brass band. So I hope you enjoy this little African lullaby called Thula Baba. Isn't that nice? It's a lovely thing, isn't it? Two soloists there on solo horn, the brilliant Izzy Stirling from Stranraer, and on euphonium, Malcolm Ormrod. He's putting in a double shift this morning. If you're thinking you're seeing double, then you're right, because he just played with the Coalburn band as well. In fact, a couple of them did as well, Nathaniel and Samuel, yeah, as well. So we're putting in a double shift this morning. Double money for you guys, okay? Yeah, cool. So, no brass band concert would be complete without a march, and we're going to play a march. Now, those of you who are involved in brass bands and know brass bands will know of a beloved march by a guy called Eric Osterling. It's called Bandology. We're not going to play that one, but we're going to play another composition by Eric Osterling from the 1950s. He wrote it for the American High School Wind Band. I've transcribed it for proper brass band, and it's called A March for a Festive Occasion. Thank you very much. It's remarkable. We've not actually played together since August. We just got together this morning, and there was lots of wee kind of messages and texts and everything going, oh, we're here, we're all together, all our pals are here. And we played for about half an hour, and they're performing like that. This is a testament of how brilliant these kids are and how good music education in Scotland is. It's a fantastic thing. So thank you to the government for making it free again. I think that's a marvellous, marvellous thing. Across the water from Perth here is the Kingdom of Fife, and they have lots of brass band contests, or they used to have lots of brass band contests in Fife. And part of the remit there was to play a test piece and to play a march. We've just played the march and a hymn tune. So we're going to play a hymn tune now, but it's not what you'd expect. This is a composition, again, with an African flavour by the English composer Peter Meekin, and it's called Hymn for Africa. He wrote it to kind of commemorate the dignity of the great elder statesman Nelson Mandela. It's a beautiful piece of writing, and it's a great example of what to do with very, very simple material. Hardly any notes in this at all, okay? And it features two of our fabulous players who you'll hear in a minute. Hymn for Africa. So I meant to say to the kids, could you make sure you take your music stand with you? Okay. Well, firstly, I think we should thank our music stands for performing that one. Thank you very much for our volunteer music stands. The two principal players are our fabulous flugel players, Amber Gourley from the Whitburn organisation and Cara McFadden from the wonderful, wonderful Campbellton organisation. Two really, really talented musicians who it's just a privilege to work for. It really is. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous win. It's funny, last night in my hotel room, I was watching the Graham Norton show, and Will Smith, the actor, was on. And he came up with really good advice about being a professional performer or an actor, is to take everything that you do and learn from it. And I hope these guys today learn that they'll remember. Remember that time we sat about 10 yards apart from each other in the Perth Concert Hall? So we're sitting a long way. So it's quite challenging for us here today, but it's absolutely, they're doing so well. The next piece we're going to play is part of a special commission, excuse me, that the Scottish Brass Band Association have, with funds from Creative Scotland, have instigated this year, where they've commissioned 4 Scottish composers to write 3 pieces for junior band. The 4 composers are Gareth Bowman, whose music you heard earlier on, Ian Munday, Cameron Mabon, and I'm incredibly lucky to be included in that group myself. And I've written this piece that really is about NYBBS. Now, if you don't know about NYBBS, most of you probably do. It's usually a summer camp. We've found a lovely home at Strathallan School in Perthshire, a residential camp where they go and live for a week, live, eat brass bands all week. It's just a marvellous, marvellous experience. And I was actually a member of that band in the late 1970s. I played originally with Newton Grange Silver Band, but when I went to NYBBS during the summer, it was just a different ball game altogether. And as an aspiring musician, it was so amazing to listen to some of the music that we played, because we didn't normally play that in our own bands. And I've always thought that's what NYBBS should be doing, playing serious, challenging music. When I went there in the 1970s, I discovered music by a gentleman called Edward Gregson that sounded nothing like anything I'd heard before. And I was just beginning to get into music. Back in the day in Scotland, to sit your higher music, you had to learn about keyboard harmony and stuff like that. Nowadays, you just have to sing the Titanic and you've passed. Anyway, but never mind. Moving on. But back in the day, we had to learn about harmony and all the rest. I had to learn all the rules. But this guy, Gregson, just threw all the rules out the window with these weird kind of angular sounds. And I loved it. I thought it was the most amazing thing. And it helped create a certain spirit at the summer course. So when I was invited back in 2012 to be part of the tutor team, I was delighted to find that spirit still there. So I wanted to recreate that in this little piece. Hope you enjoy it. The kids have really embraced it. It's in 3 sections. It's called a Summer Overture. The first one is a very angular, kind of almost like march-like section. Then there's a very sweet-sounding section in the middle. And then it finishes off with a scherzino. Now, if you like to tap your feet to the beat, usually our music's in 2 beats to the bar, or maybe sometimes 3, sometimes 4. This one's in 7. Okay? Now, we thought that the kids would have a bit of bother with this, but actually they just embraced it brilliantly. I conducted this piece with an adult band recently, not a Scooby. Okay? Kids, nae bother. So we hope you enjoy this piece I've composed, especially for this band, a Summer Overture. Thank you very, very much. The kids just embraced that, no problem at all. Aye, fine, aye. When's dinner? Yeah, so as you can see, there are one or two helpers. I don't do all this myself, of course. The NYBBS is a fantastic family, and they're a wonderful team of tutors who help us here with the children's band. Because of circumstances today, two of them are involved in the competition this afternoon. They can't be with us, but we have Gary Williams, who helps the baritone euphoniums, and Caroline Farron, who does miracles with the cornet section. And they send their best wishes today. Are they here? No, they'll be rehearsing. There's a contest on this afternoon. But we do have another member of our tutor staff, Mr. Stuart Black, who's at the back helping us there. Thank you, Stuart. And because we do have one or two of our tutors missing today, we've brought in one or two players from the reserve band to help us as well, which is, I thank you very much, Pippa and Aidan and Charlie. Thank you for being here, that's great. And we also are very, very lucky to have the conductor of the reserve band of Scotland, Mr. John Boax, sitting in the cornet section. Thank you, John. The kids are just fantastic, they really are. They're just a joy to work with. It's just been great fun this morning. We've got two more pieces for you, again with an African feel. This is a piece with an African theme to it, but it comes from Norway. And it's written by a very famous jazz trumpet player there called Jan Magnaforde. It's called Ejala. And as you can see, our percussion section have moved from the back of the band, where they belong, where they usually are. Sorry. This is Angus, and Angus is going to play the cajon drum for this one. Ejala. Hello, 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 hello. 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 I'm awfully sorry, I'm from Newton Grange. We still point at planes in the sky. Okay, what a wonderful piece of music that is, isn't it? Fabulous. I once played it here with a brass band, and the adjudicator this afternoon, Mr. Stephen Mead, said, it sounds like fresh air. It does, it's beautiful, just the space in there. And of course, as well as Angus, our fabulous drummer, who hasn't dropped his sticks once so far. It was a daily occurrence at Strathallan. As well as Angus, we feature, of course, our brilliant solo cornet section on Fourth Man Down Drew. And yeah, is it? On Bumper Up, Aidan. And our third man down, Beth, who's actually made it all the way from Inverness in this weather. So fantastic, Beth, well done. And the leader of the band, just a fabulous young musician, Angus Payton. So, sadly, we've come to the final piece of our wee concert. I'd just like to thank Saba for asking the children's band to play here today in this wonderful concert hall. Can I just tell you how good this place is? It's been a real brilliant experience for the kids and getting together. And it's just a testament to just how talented they are, the work that they do with their teachers in the schools and in the brass bands. That they've just been able to come after 6 months to Perth, through the wind and the rain and the trees flying everywhere, and make music like that. It's extraordinary. So we're going to play a piece, another African piece. This one actually comes from Lanarkshire. I've mentioned that NYBBS is a family. There are 3 bands in NYBBS, of course. We are the children's band, we are the under-13s. There is the reserves, which is the under-16s, more or less. And then there's the main NYBBS, which is people with beards and moustaches and stuff like that. So a coaching member of the team of the reserve band, Gareth Bowman, who I'm sure you've just heard with his fabulous Coalburn band doing their pirate thing. He wrote this piece for us. It's an African piece. It's actually the Swahili word for spirit. It's called Umoya. And that really just sums up everything that's good about NYBBS. Spirit. Learning music, making fun, having fun, that kind of stuff. Friends, fun, the whole lot. It's just a great week, guys, isn't it? You all love NYBBS, don't you? Yeah. So it's just been great playing back together again here. So hope you enjoy Umoya. Thank you for being here this morning.